Welcome to Madame Raven's. This way to the library. She's been expecting you.
Hello, darlings. I hope you're all having a wonderful holiday season so far. It's been a fun one for me. This is the first time I'm recording in over a week, and I have sure missed it. And I have a surprise. I had a huge, not Donald Trump huge, but huge, New Year's collaboration I have been working on for the past couple months with someone very, very kind that has decided to host it on his channel. It will be on Mr. Creepypasta's channel, and I will link to it on the community page when he gets that up on New Year's Day, hopefully. So, yeah, there's a big surprise. There is a large number of us ladies doing stories, and he is doing a collab on it with a good friend of his, Madam Black Rose. Another madam, lovely, lovely lady. And I'm very excited for that. The ladies that listen, that are in on the narration and listen, now you're getting the big news. Yeah. So, on with our story. We have been waiting for this, have we not? This is part 12, the second to the last part of Help. I'm trapped in a city of all women. I don't feel like myself, by Zithero. I turned heads as I walked home. As I made it past the house of Hestia, a few people recognized me. One of them was Lana. Lana ran down the steps. Madison? I turned to her, smiling as I looked down at her. Hey, Lana. I was much more relaxed when I was with her compared to Demetra. I wasn't sure why. She did it, Lana said, looking me up and down. She tried with me, but it didn't work. She looked heartbroken. Lana, the house of Hestia needs you. I'm sure this was divine intervention, I consoled. That's what Empress Ragna said. A chill ran through me. I'm happy for you, though. And jealous, Lana chuckled. You realize you have rights to get your own house now, right? I know. I looked down the street. But I think my home is fine. You sure? Lana asked. Surer than ever. A shiver ran down my spine. I'd been waiting for years for this. Well, I'm sure Hilly will get a shock, Lana chirped. Oh, yes, she will, I said as I walked off. Bye, Lana. Bye, Lana shouted, waving. As I looked back, I noticed the scar she had on her forehead now, left over from her beating all those years ago. As I passed the Order of Eris Hall, thoughts of Demetra passed through my mind. I always trusted Eurybia, but now my entire world was in question. Who could I trust? I thought it was Eurybia, but that was wrong. I walked in, knocking. Anyone home? The common patrons were there. Laura was a Hestie who had a little issue with psychedelics. The only place she could use them was here. So she was lying in a pew muttering about how the ceiling was covered in glitter. It was not. Across from her was another Hestie, a rather studious Candace, who was watching Laurie trip out. I was unsure if Candace ever took any drugs herself. She seemed to enjoy watching Laurie. It never occurred to me to bother her, and despite this strange drug use, Eurybia was here to make sure no one overdosed inside the hall. That's when I saw Eurybia, standing behind the altar, looking at the statue of Eris with the apple in its hand. I leaned over the altar and poked her. Eurybia, what's up? Eurybia turned to me and smiled. "Oh, Maddie," she squinted in the darkness. "Did you get your hair done?" I rolled my eyes. "Eurybia, can we talk in private?" Eurybia peeked over the altar. "This is fairly private." "Demetria," I said, narrowing my eyes on her. Eurybia looked to the statue. "Like anyone would believe me if I said anything," she sighed, shrugging. "She wanted to keep us hidden, claimed she was working for our goddess behind the scenes." She turned to me. "I never saw a lick of it." "She did a number on a few people," I pointed out, raising my eyebrow. "So you knew of her?" Eurybia leaned against the altar, looking far less than her usual happy self. "Yeah." "Why wouldn't you tell me?" "She made me swear not to." Eurybia frowned. "Demetria is the most powerful woman in Penthesil next to Queen Rachel. Not one to get on the bad side of." I knelt next to her. Eurybia squinted at me again. "Wait, are you taller?" "Are you drunk?" I shot back. Eurybia shrugged, getting to her feet. I stood with her, now a couple of inches taller than her. Eurybia's smile returned. "Wow, you're a tall drink of water." She turned to Lori. "Did you spike my rum?" "No one spiked your rum." I narrowed my eyes on her, which caused Eurybia to wilt under my gaze. Some warning about Demetria would have been appreciated. I thought we were a coven. I'd have kept a secret. Why didn't you tell me? Eurybia turned from me, facing the statue. "If I heard anything about what to do, maybe." She hugged her shoulders. "What's up with you?" I asked. With all the craziness, I thought she'd speak to me again. Eurybia turned back to me. "Have I not been paying enough patronage? Have I been recruiting left and right? It's been years." Eurybia hemmed and hawed. I think I'm having a crisis of faith." "You?" I shouted. "Are you kidding?" Lori sat up, shouting. "The ceiling is snowing." Candace laughed. "I knew it! I knew it would fall down on you!" "This will never come out," Lori complained, trying to push non-existent glitter off of her. "I'll go get some water." Candace dashed out of the hall. Eurybia smiled at the little bit of nonsense in the background. I glanced at the statue. "Eris, what gives?" I asked. Eris's voice tittered. "I don't speak to everyone, my giant muffin." Eurybia sighed. She won't answer. She fell to her knees before the statue of Eris. "Have I displeased you, O great sower of chaos?" I glared at the statue. "Has she?" Eris smiled. "You realize to see and speak to me means you have to have a touch of madness, right?" She grinned wide. "A touch?" I grimaced. Did that mean I was insane? Or a little tweaked? I was seeing her more and more. "Granted, spiritually, there are worse entities out there." Oh, Eris shuddered. "Like what?" I asked. "Like, don't ask me anything about them." She floated over Eurybia. "She's been working hard, hasn't she?" "Yes, look at her. She's distraught," I pointed out. Eurybia turned to me. "Who are you speaking with?" I pointed to the statue. Eris hopped off my shoulder. "Well, ask and you'll receive." And with that, she jumped into Eurybia. Eurybia gasped. Her eyes rolled into the back of her head, and she fell behind the altar, convulsing. I knelt next to her, making sure she didn't knock her head too hard. "Eris, what are you doing in there?" Eris's voice tittered, laughing. "Instilling faith." Uneasiness seeped through me. I hoped Eurybia wasn't being punished for her momentary religious crisis. Eurybia sat up and grinned wide, speaking in a familiar voice. Oh, this is so nice. Eurybia is such a lithe thing. Eris? I shuddered. Did you possess her? Eurybia said she'd be honored. And with that, Eurybia/Eris got to her feet. Right, cutie? Eurybia's normal voice came through. Oh, Madison, it's wonderful. Her beautiful discord is inside of me. Eurybia's voice gurgled a bit before Eris spoke again. I will have a euro and leave her hungover somewhere. She reached into her pocket. Oh, well, isn't she prepared? Eurybia/Eris took a swig of rum-filled flask. Are you going to release her, Eris? I asked. Eris let out a satisfied sigh as she drained the flask. Oh, yes. I've grown in power, and I haven't had a physical body in ages. This is a test drive. I won't hurt my most loyal priestess. Well, her liver a little. She giggled and skipped out of the hall. Well, bye to you too, I said, looking to see Candace running back with a bucket of water. You okay to watch Lori here? Candace nodded. Well, yeah, that's what I do. She looked me up and down. Wait, I thought I was sober. Why do you look like an arty Maddie? Madison, I growled, and you're sober. It's something the new empress can do. Eris be praised! Candace shouted as she dumped the water on Lori. I'm drowning in glitter, Lori shouted. Help! I can't swim! Candace busted out laughing, and I left the two to continue their escapades inside. I worried about Eurybia and what Eris might do to her, but I had to trust her. Eurybia was the most faithful in the whole order, up to this point anyway. Eris will stick to her word. They say goddesses cannot break their word. Besides, I needed to get home. I was positive by now Hilly would be there. And I was getting excited and nervous. As I got to the door, I entered the key code and walked in. Hilly was bundling up a trash bag when she turned to me. Hey, who the... She dropped it, eyes wide. Maddie? My fists clenched in anger. Try as I might, I could not hold it back. I rushed at her, grabbed her wrists, and forced her against the wall. It's Madison, I growled. Say it! Madison, she grunted, struggling against me. How are you so strong? I pulled her wrists up over her head. I was taller than her. It was a rush. Do you know what you put me through for the last 5 years? Hilly swallowed hard. She trailed off, looking away from me. No, I shouted. You don't get to look away, Hilly. She turned to me, tears in her eyes. My heart was hammering in my chest. This was everything I imagined it would be. I didn't, Hilly stammered. That night you attacked me, you didn't just hit me. I kept this in for too long, all because you changed for the better. You said you don't remember, but now I will finally explain what you put me through. I continued with a speech I had rehearsed over and over in my head. So I carried this hurt the whole damn time, and I'm going to... Hilly cut me off. I remember, Hilly shouted, whimpering. I wasn't blackout drunk, but I was drunk and confused. I'm sorry, Madison. I'm so sorry. I thought if you didn't think I remembered, you wouldn't say anything. I thought you were Maria when I came into the room, but when you bit me, I realized I was wrong, and Hilly looked down. You weren't the only one carrying it. I felt so guilty. I let go of her. It takes the wind out of your sails when you plot for a big confrontation, and the person you're pissed at apologizes. Now I had all this anger, and I had no outlet. Hilly lamented. I like you. I do, but I had no right to do that to you. To rape me, I said. Yes, Hilly confirmed. It's why I stopped drinking when you asked me to. It was all I could try to do to make it right. The lump in my throat vanished, and my shoulders relaxed. That was the only time a woman kissed me. Under normal circumstances, I would have taken you up on your offer, but you kind of ruined the whole idea for me. My heart was still hammering in my chest, and I wanted to hit something. It was taking everything in me not to deck Hilly. If I could take it back, I would, Hilly said. I did not understand how to fix it. How can I fix this, Maddie? I grabbed her wrists and got into her face. I said, it's Madison. Hilly gasped as I pushed her against the wall. I was face to face with her before I had an idea. You want us even? Yes, Hilly whimpered. I kissed her, hard, pressing my body against hers as I did. Hilly resisted for all of 3 seconds before she let me, even kissing back to my shock. I broke the kiss. There, now we're even, I gasped, catching my breath. Hilly's face was flushed. Are you finished? I could lie to myself all day long, but to be honest, holding her there, kissing her, with the adrenaline and everything pulsing through me, I couldn't deny that I wasn't. I kissed her again, and she once more let me have her. She got more into it, wriggling against me while I held her wrists tight, not even trying to escape my grasp. When I broke the kiss, she gasped. Can I tell you a secret? Hilly heaved. What? I growled. I'm a predator, and I liked my prey. Maria? She was the stud in our relationship, Hilly confessed. I grinned at her. Oh, Hilly, I sighed. My anger subsided. You sap. Hilly was cuddling with me a few hours later. I had a lot of stamina, and so did she, so our little experiment went on for a while. Also, angry sex is, well, cathartic. I wasn't angry anymore, that was for sure. To be honest, I was content. Hilly looked me over. What happened to you? I mean, I'm not complaining, but how? I smiled. The Empress. Okay, but who are you? Hilly asked. What do you mean? I said, turning to her. I mean, I thought you enjoyed being called Maddie. I know you didn't at first, but, well, when you called me Hilly, I liked it. You took charge of the situation and threw it back at me. My brow furrowed as I remembered that. And I looked to the ceiling. Madison, this isn't you. I don't know who you are right now. Do you? Hilly asked. I closed my eyes. Hilly had a point. What I did, what I said while I did it didn't feel like me. I enjoyed it, but it was like something else was at the wheel. I had put that person there, sure, but someone else was making the detailed decisions for me. Madison? Maddie, I whispered. Is fine, Hilly. Hilly slid on top of me, leaning down and kissing me. I don't want to lose you in there. Her weight didn't bother me, and I sat up. You won't. I will talk to I shook my head. To Ragna. It was almost hard to say it without the formality. Right, Hilly said, looking more concerned than before. So, what now? Hilly asked. Ragna will send me to war, I explained, turning to her. Aren't you going too? Hilly frowned. I'm Royal Guard. I don't get deployed. Our task is protecting the city and the Queen. I grinned. So what you're saying is I'm going off to war and you're staying home? Yes, Hilly said, lifting an eyebrow. So you're my Hestie. Hilly leaned in closer to me. Maybe? How about I just consider that a yes? Hilly laid against me, her head on my shoulders. Sure, just between us. Just between us, I said, looking to the ceiling. You are just a big sap, aren't you? Hilly was blushing. Don't tell anyone. I won't, I sighed. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted Eris in the mirror. Eris winked at me and gave me a thumbs up. I chuckled. Eris be praised. The next day, I headed to the palace. Ragna had told me I was receiving my armor. It seemed like a good time as any to tell her about the changes I was experiencing in my personality. I reached the palace and found the girl at the desk, named Jenna, I had finally discovered. Jenna glanced up to me. Oh, wow! I heard the rumors, but that's crazy, she grinned. Does it work on everyone? I flexed my bicep to Jenna. Not yet, but who knows? Empress Ragna's working on it. A shiver ran through me. This wasn't like me, was it? I was never buff, sure, but was I always so flirty? What about Hilly? After last night, we're an item, right? Jenna grinned at me. Is it amazing to go from being a Hestie to an artist? It's something, I forced a smile. Where's the Empress? She told me she had something for me. Jenna nodded. Not sure, but I'll find out. She's with the Order of Athena at the moment in her office. She frowned. Did you hear? There was some kind of poison gas attack against Stuart Dimitra. They say it was an assassin from the United States. I had not heard that, I lied. Ragna seemed to be taking a page from Dimitra's book of deception. Was she any better than Dimitra in that regard? Eris's words played back in my head. Why have a bunch of little snakes when you can have a leviathan? I'm thinking Ragna was the leviathan. Rachel's voice grabbed Jenna's attention. Rachel complained in the royal gallery. Rachel was walking, wearing a light blue dress with silver boots. I think they even had a little heel on them. Her shoulders were bare, and she had a small tiara on. Stop fussing over me, she shouted to 4 royal guards standing around her. Her wings seemed to be resting lower than usual. My queen, you should not be up and about, one of them declared. The Emperor said so. Jenna picked up her phone. Oh, pick up, Empress. I walked closer to Queen Rachel as she stepped forward. A thrill came over me as I saw her. She was the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. How had I not noticed before? Her hair, long, soft auburn hair, her beautiful eyes, even the rage behind them, burned with a fiery passion that I just wanted to stare back at me, angry or sad. My heart was in my throat. Even her voice seemed enchanting, even as she berated her guard. Don't tell me what I should or should not do, Rachel shouted. I am still your queen, not some invalid. I walked over to her, pushing past the guard without even thinking. Hey, one of the guard women turned to me, trying to force me back, having little effect on me. Get away from the queen this instant. I glared at her. Mind yourself. My eyes narrowed. Least I report you to Commander Hilivia Regas. What are you doing to the queen? She should rest, I shouted, unable to stop myself as I faced her, my demeanor softening. A few of the guards gave me curious looks. Rachel glared at me. How dare you? She walked up to me, poking me in the chest. I have half a mind to order your execution. She took a breath. I am in no mood to... She lost her balance. As she collapsed, I caught her. Rachel, I shouted, my heart about to break. Someone get a damn doctor. Loud footsteps stampeded towards me, and soon I found Ragna on the other side of Rachel. What happened? Ragna said, turning to me. Captain? She lost her balance, I explained. Unhand me, Rachel shouted, coughing. Damn it, I'm fine. I slipped, that's all. Damn shoes. Ragna cradled Rachel in her arms and pulled her from me. Reluctantly, I released her to Ragna's concern. Ragna gave me a stern glare. Captain, mind yourself. It was only then I took a step back. Why did I feel this way about Rachel? A chill ran over my whole body as my stomach dropped. I could feel it, the same heartbreak I felt when Rachel tumbled to the ground. I could sense it coming from Ragna. Was she in me? Overriding my thoughts and emotions? My body wouldn't stop shaking. Ragna turned to me, now confused. Captain, at ease. I could only shake my head. Rachel reached up to Ragna, caressing her face. Ragna, this isn't working. I can't be like this. Ragna turned back to her. You have to. Just a little longer to rest, my amaranth, and you'll be healthy enough to walk. To walk? That's my goal? What about fighting, flying? Rachel's face twisted into a look of despair that shattered my very being. Tears were leaking from my eyes, and I saw Ragna close to tears. Oh, God, it's her. It's Ragna's feelings smashing into my own. They're so intense that my own feelings are crushed beneath hers. Rachel, you'll recover, but I can't say when. Ragna leaned down, kissing her. But you can't just rush out, ready to conquer the world with me. I've waited 20 years to just do that, Rachel protested. Now you tell me I cannot be with you? Rachel held her hand. What about the NIHA? Ragna shook her head. No, absolutely not. I know what it can do. You showed me, Rachel said. No, Ragna said firmly. Rachel narrowed her eyes. I will not connect myself back to those damn machines. I refuse. You'd rather they be a part of you? Ragna countered. Ragna was frightened. But by what, I wasn't sure. I know you said it was unstable, Rachel protested. You, Ragna clarified, you're unstable. Rachel glared. You know what I mean. Ragna heaved a sigh as she stood up with her. You won't accept no, will you? Rachel wrapped her arms around Ragna's neck. No. Ragna closed her eyes. Let's get you to bed for now, and I'll ready the array. Rachel grinned. Then we could get married soon. Ragna nodded. If you're still you. The royal guard didn't leave me as the two of them walked off. Instead, it seemed they were surrounding me. Afraid you're under arrest, Captain, one said. I glared at them surrounding me, my fist clenched, ready to tear them apart. My body was still shaking, and I was nothing but nerves. A voice in the far back of my head shouted, This isn't you. It was Hilly's voice. My fists unclenched. I'm sorry. I held my hands out as they cuffed me. For you to touch the Queen and break our ranks is a crime. The Empress will figure out what to do with you, they said as they escorted me away. I looked to the room Rachel and Ragna had entered, and I longed for Rachel's full recovery. Then I snapped myself back to reality. No, Ragna was longing for that. I was just hoping that I didn't just get myself executed. They didn't take my phone, so here I am in prison. I'm staring at the ceiling and the bars, doing my damnedest to figure out what feelings are mine and what is the Empress's. As powerful as I've become, I've never felt this helpless and alone. I'll let you know if I'm being executed or even tried. Personally, I think Ragna will get me out of here. She knew something was up. Perhaps this connection isn't one way. Maybe she's feeling me too. So quoth this raven. Well, my darlings, it seems Madison has changed a great deal through this transformation. one more chapter to go. I may put it out this week. Maybe I will do Tuesday so that I do finish by the new year like I've promised. So tune in then. Thank you all for coming in and joining me in my little library. And special thanks to my Patreon supporters, Ermin, Darren and Jennifer Daw, Laura, Mutant Artificial Intelligence, Tabby Cat, and Charlotte Emerson. If you like this, please hit the little button to let me know. If you didn't, hit the little button to let me know. Leave a comment. I'm always glad to talk with you, my darlings. I'm open to suggestions and criticisms, critiques. If you have not subscribed, please do so and ring the little bell so you know when to come up and see me. And I will talk to you next time, my darlings. Farewell.